As we all know, Dandy's World has an in-universe TV show that goes by the same name. That ran from 1987 to 2002. It is also confirmed that the tunes are based off of the show. However, for a show that goes on for about 15 years, it is inevitable that the show would get a spin-off. And that's what I am covering in today's video. I have 4 ideas that I'll be ranking from least probable to most probable, while also listing off what network it belongs on, its age demographic, and its overall premise. Here is our 4 ideas. Dandy's World Book Club Stories, Dandy's World Sprout and Cosmos Bakery, Dandy's World Circus Troupe Adventures, and Dandy's World Junior Detective. But first, we have to mention the time frame of when all of these should take place and the network the original Dandy's World show should be on. I mentioned before the Dandy's World show went on for 15 years, but we need to figure out what network the show was on. However, while it's complicated, it's somewhat simple, and I'll explain it in another video, but the only plausible way the show could air on TV during the 80s is through the process of syndication, more specifically, first-run syndication. First-run syndication was a popular practice in the 80s. It's basically when a show airs for the very first time a distributor company like Nelvana or Deke Entertainment help distribute the show through local stations and provide them the episodes and promotion materials. Shows like Inspector Gadget, The Simpsons, and more went through this process. However, sometimes when a show gets popular enough, a network will try and buy the rights to the show, as well as the rights to produce more episodes. I can 100% see this happening with the Dandy's World show, maybe after like 2 seasons. And for a network choice, I think Nickelodeon is probably our best choice. Think about it, Fox Kids is too wacky and filled with craziness. PBS Kids and Kids WB didn't even exist yet, and unfortunately for everyone who thought this, but no. Cartoon Network is not a good channel for the show, given the fact that it's educational, something that Cartoon Network lacks even today. Plus, Nickelodeon by the 1990s already had Nick Jr., and that should settle everything. However, it's even more complicated if you overlook the educational part of the show and look into its other aspects. See why I said it'll be in another video. So our time frame should be 1992 onwards for the OG Dandy's World show. And now we can finally get to the spin-offs, which should be made in the mid-90s when Nick Jr. started having original animated shows like Blue's Clues and Little Bear. Like I mentioned before, we'll be ranking them from least probable to most probable, a more fancy way of saying least likely to most likely, and with that, coming in dead last is unfortunately Book Club Stories. The spin-off would have revolved around the book club trio that consists of Brightney, Astro, and Dazzle, as they tell the stories of the book they are reading to the other members, encouraging kids at home to read. As you can probably tell, this can be a Nick Jr. show with probably 13 episodes and 1 season. However, the reason why I put this as least probable is actually pretty simple. The original show could easily explore this route in more than 1 episode. Plus, the other ideas are more interesting than this. Even though this one is a pretty good idea in itself, I guess we'll unfortunately wait another day. Moving on to somewhat probable, we have Circus Troupe Adventures. It stars the circus troupe, Louie, Yada, and Claude, as they think of act ideas while also trying not to get distracted by something, or I don't know. I came up with these ideas in like 5 minutes, so they were kind of rushed. This is something that could only be on Nickelodeon and not Nick Jr. because of the premise alone. However, apart from that, I can see potential in this. Maybe 1 season of 13 episodes is good enough. However, like Book Club Stories, the other 2 ideas are more interesting than this, and this is something you'd see on the original show, so I passed on it. Coming in second place as a probable is Sprout and Cosmos Bakery. Its premise is pretty simple. Sprout and Cosmo open up a bakery to bring in new people to their baking, while also facing setbacks along the way. This can fit as a Nickelodeon show and could honestly work really well, as a plot like this cannot be made in an 11-minute episode in the original show. However, the reason I passed on it is because following cake recipes are so difficult for me, and I learned it firsthand while writing an episode for a show, and I ain't wasting any more time on them. Given the fact that the episode took 2+ weeks to finish, so despite having the best potential, it will not see the light of day, unfortunately. However, the idea that will get the #1 spot and the title of Most Probable is Junior Detective. The show would star Toodles, as she tries to solve mysteries all around Garden View, while also being taught valuable detective skills by her teacher and father figure Roger. As if this wasn't already obvious enough, this is 100% a Nick Jr. show. I can see it surpass 1 season and get itself a 2nd season on top of it. That's 26 episodes combined between 2 seasons. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But one more important disclaimer: TVY equals to kids aged 2 to 6 years old. That's the age demographic for Nick Jr. Whereas TVY7 is kids aged 7 to 12 years old. That's the age demographic for Nickelodeon. Hopefully that resolves any questions you guys might have. In conclusion, a Dandy's World spinoff is inevitable and could 100% happen. Comment what was your favorite idea and why you liked it. And I also want opinions because it would help a lot, in some way, shape, or form. And finally, I can say goodnight and goodbye.